All right, another option for you here for hip external rotation PAILs rails, probably the most basic setup, is getting into that figure 4 position. And all you have to do here is play with the different vectors and positioning to get a deep hip stretch in this externally rotated position. Again, not just external rotation, but hip flexion and slight abduction. So proud chest, I'm pulling my tailbone back to see if that will deepen the stretch. I'm leaning forward, kind of leaning away and driving my hip in the opposite direction. I'm leaning towards the knee and the same side hip. And you can just play around with different vectors and different positioning, anterior, posterior pelvic tilt, whatever it may be, usually anterior pelvic tilt, so pulling that tailbone back towards the wall and finding the position where you feel a deep stretch in the hip joint. PAILs, right, and then holding that for 2 minutes, right? PAILs rails, hold that position, whatever it may be, which for me, it's gonna be anterior pelvic tilt, leaning forward, slightly away, knee down, pretty good stretch there. It may be completely different for you, and that's fine, right? We have different anatomy. Same anatomy, different compensations, whatever, dysfunction, if you will. PAILs rails, holding this, static, passive stretch for 2 minutes. Holding that for 2 minutes. Once that 2 minutes is up, PAILs, progressive angular isometric loading. I'm internally rotating in this position, which means ankle gets heavier into the quad. But as I do that, my knee isn't lifting up towards me. Knee stays here, quad is on a skewer. I'm engaging the musculature that's on stretch by allowing my ankle and foot to get heavier into the knee. Isometric ramping, 10%, 20%, 30%, all the way up to 100% safest max effort. Maintaining that safest max effort for 15 seconds. Drive, drive, drive. 3, 2, 1. Rails. Externally rotating in this position even deeper. Trying to get this foot off the knee, which should be impossible if you're in the proper position. Squeezing that as hard as you can. Getting that underneath stuff. Getting that outside hip stuff. Knee trying not to drive terribly far down to the ground. Again, you can use this hand as a place marker to make sure that's staying right there as you squeeze as hard as you can into external rotation, trying to get that foot off the quad. Holding that for 15 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Relaxing, getting a little deeper into that stretch and that new range that you just unlocked, and either slowly come on out safely or maintain that position again for your second and next rep.